Friday morning, 7 o'clock, we started from the clock. With all our sails set fore and aft on board the schooner Frank, southeast by south. Was our course, southeast by south, says he. Southeast by south was our course, southeast by south, says he.
Cayman is my island, surrounded by the deep blue sea. It is the only place on earth I ever want to be. And folks that have come to visit have voiced the words out clear. Oh, what a beautiful island, I wish I was living here. Cayman was discovered by Columbus a long, long time ago. I do not believe any real true records have been kept of his visit, so I think we will never know. How factful was his findings of Columbus on our land? I believe he went as he came, but he made a map, which he placed in the Queen's right hand. But I could paint out a picture of over 70 odd years gone by, when the buggy and the horse was a treasure. A bicycle was rare to the eye. Wherever we went, we had to walk in sand up to our ankles deep. But the length of miles did not distress us, for our fellowship then was sweet. You may ask who kept our island up in those hard days of toil. It was our sailormen who sailed the seas in the calm and storm weather wild. And today, far down in history, their record stands the test. Our sailormen of our islands are counted with the best. The Caymans of today and the Caymans of yesterday do not look the same. So many changes have come to our islands. Some folks have even changed their surnames. But there is one thing that stands out for them. The worship of our God is still here. In each district, on each Sunday morn, our church bells rings out loud and clear. Our Caymans of yesterday was not so well known, but today it has a throne of its own. In distant lands on television, Caymans can be seen so clear with the invitation, come to the Isles of Grand Caymans. It is just lovely here. Caymans has its faults and failures, but there's plenty of good still here. You may say there are records of drug trafficking and murdering. Yes, they are the things we fear. Breaking in homes and shops to steal, all this is very true. But it is done only by the small-minded folks who, thank God, are very few. God bless our island, Grand Caymans, and may it ever stay, with no worse ways of living as up to the present day, but may it improve for the good, not bad, to kill the wrong, not the right. And may we Caymanians stand firm and steadfast to keep up the fight for right. Thank you. Well, for me to tell, for 5 times I dreamt about Jesus Christ. I went to bed, I said my prayers, and I went to sleep. The first time it was when Richard was quite a small child. I had the dream, the first dream. I dreamt that I walked to the end of the pathway from the door. And when I looked to the east, there were Jesus coming down with angels on each side. And I started to call. I says, Myra, come. Jesus has come, and I'm not prepared to meet him. And he stopped right abreast to this house. It is as true as I'm talking to you. And when he did so, I thought that he would have stood upon the earth. He didn't. It was a cloud under his feet, between his feet and the ground. But he didn't speak. The angels just surrounded him, and he went in a big white cloud. He disappeared. The second time I dreamt of him, I dreamt like he was in a carriage. It was a golden carriage up to the southeast. And I said to him, I was down on the ground, bowing. I says, Jesus, I'm not worthy to call your holy name. He just leaned like out of the carriage. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. And a white cloud enveloped the carriage-looking thing, and he disappeared. 3 other dreams were similar to those 2. But I haven't dreamt about him now for several years. But it was while I had youth, to be frank with you, that I had those dreams. And I never, ever forgot them. My first painting was on my old home, which now is 117 years of age. But that was 20-odd years ago that I started painting the windows. I was sitting down, and all of a sudden it came to my mind's eye how nice my windows would look painted up. And I had some paint, so I started painting. At first, my sister was very annoyed with me, but when she found out she couldn't stop me, she left me alone.
What was that first painting? What was it?
It was a bird on the window, the first painting, flying. And my friends didn't like to see it. And one evening I was sitting down after painting, and 2 of my lovely friends passed by. And I heard one say to the other, but you see those windows there? Wonder why Myra was my sister, 12 years my senior. I wonder why Myra didn't stop Lassie messing up those windows. My God, but you know Lassie must be mad. They don't up to the day that I heard them. But I dodged my head and I had a laugh. And every time I think of it, I still laugh. Whatever you see that I have painted comes before me just like a picture. And I paint it as near as I can for the likeness of it. If it don't come to my mind's eye, I can't do anything with it. I can't paint anything physically. I have tried it, but I have failed. And it's no wonder that I could be crazy, you know, because as a matter of fact, I'm not a doctor. And the only time in my 83 years I've been to 2 doctors, and they pronounced me quite healthy. The last one was Dr. Thomason, which I really love that little doctor. And I don't think he was telling me for falsehood. And I asked him if I was off the brink. But he would not answer me yes or no, so he left me wondering. I know the faults of my work so far where painting is concerned. I do not make the nose of my faces like the nose of the human, but I paint it as it appears before my mind's eye. It's not of some off-site layout. Whatever it is, I paint it as I see it, whether it's wrong or whether it's right. But I'm not the least bit annoyed at anyone's opinion concerning what I do. For each man must have their own opinion, and there's no law against it. So you hold your opinion, and I hold mine.